Hi, my name is Lyric, and today we're going to react to This Is Getting Out of Control by JxmyHighRoller. Obviously, JxmyHighRoller is one of the best NBA YouTubers, so yeah, I'm really prepared for this. Not much else to say. And yeah, because his title's not going to reveal quickly what the video is about, so let's just get right into it.
Question. What do Kevin Durant, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, LaMelo Ball, Luka Doncic, Cade Cunningham, Tyrese Halliburton, Anthony Edwards, Karl Anthony Towns, Zion Williamson, and these 78 other players have in common?
I have no
I'll
idea.
give you a second to think about it. There's a lot of guys here, different teams and situations. It's injuries. All 88 of these players are either out or day-to-day due to injuries. NBA players just can't stay healthy, and no longer is it just the notoriously injury-prone players being sidelined.
I think it's partly because of how the game's played at a faster pace today.
It seems like no one can avoid both small and severe injuries. And the weirdest part is that no one can figure out why. Today's video is brought.
Shout out to JxmyHighRoller for getting his money, but they ain't paying me, so I'll skip the sponsor.
And $2,000 off your first order today.
You can use code Jimmy though to get $20 off your first SeatGeek order.
In the 2002-2003 NBA season, Michael Jordan played in his last NBA game. And at 40 years old, Michael managed to play
all 82
regular season games that year.
He played all 82 so many times.
This seems like an extraordinary feat for an aging legend. But 20 years ago, it was fairly standard to play every single game. In fact, that same season, Kevin Garnett didn't miss a
We talked about this in the Johnny Arnett video, how to fix the NBA with the load management and injuries and stuff.
Kobe Bryant didn't miss a game. Steve Nash didn't. Neither did Allen Iverson or.
And all these players are superstars.
Marbury. Even the 7'6" Yao Ming played all 82 games that season.
Which is really impressive considering how many injuries he had later on.
20 years, and in a league where injuries and load management have ran rampant, there is only one all-star level player who hasn't missed a single game.
Damn, shout out Julius Randle, man. Shout out Julius Randle. Anthony Edwards was doing it for a while before he got that ankle injury. Yes, a bonus. Paul George is out for the rest of the regular season. Jaren Jackson was out for the beginning part of the season. Kevin Durant, you know, obviously he sprained his MCL, then sprained his ankle. So he's missed like half the season, over half maybe. I think he might have missed over half the season. Jokic has missed some games. He hasn't had major injuries, but he's missed some games, mainly because of load management, I think. Anthony Edwards got that ankle injury. John Morant got suspended. Jason Tatum, hasn't missed many games, but yeah, he's missed a little bit. DeRozan hasn't missed many games, I don't think. But he missed a little bit. De'Aaron Fox, I think the same thing. I don't think he's missed many games, but he missed a little bit. Giannis has missed quite a bit this season, with a few injuries he's had. Lauri Markkanen. We got Bam Adebayo. Tyrese Halliburton was out for a while with an injury. He's out now, I think. Kyrie Irving, obviously. You know, he gets injured quite a bit. Donovan Mitchell. Damian Lillard. Joel Embiid, obviously, is pretty injury prone. Less than he used to be, but yeah, still injury prone. Luka, unfortunately. Pretty injury prone sometimes, you know, especially with his minutes load. Pascal Siakam, he was out for a little bit with an injury. Shea, he's out for like 5 games, went on like a 5-game losing streak, which, considering how good they're doing now, that's actually him. If he would have played, maybe they would have been in a playoff position currently, which they're actually pretty close still to be in the play-in. Jaylen Brown, he got like that facial injury where he like fractured his face and he's like still wearing a mask. Drew Holiday. LeBron obviously is out for, well, he's missed a good part. He's gonna come back for a few games left in the regular season. Zion cannot play a game to save his fucking life, and Steph Curry got not one but 2 major injuries that put him out for like a month each this season. So yeah, shout out Julius Randle for playing every game. Let's see if he keeps it going.
Of the injury-riddled iceberg, because this season there are only 12 players who haven't missed a single game.
Damn. Julius Randle, Vucevic, that Damian Lee, Jabon Carter, KJ Martin. Who's this? This Josh Christopher? Maybe Buddy Hield, Derek White, Kevon Looney, Jordan Poole. 2 Warriors. Like to see that. Who's this? I can't tell who that is. And then Isaac Okoro.
Years ago, there were 46 players who didn't miss a single game all season.
Yeah, that's pretty insane.
Why can't NBA players stay on the court? With advancements in training, nutrition, recovery, the amount of money these players are spending on their bodies, the world-class facilities and staff to keep them in impeccable condition, how are these players incapable of staying healthy?
Yeah, you think it'd be the opposite with the medical technology advancing and stuff.
We have some theories, but I'm not sure if anyone has an answer. There are currently 88 players throughout the NBA listed as out or day-to-day due to injuries.
Oh my God.
That is 20% of the entire league
20%.
because of injuries. Over the last week, videos have surfaced from around the league of multiple players getting injured in the middle of their pre-game warm-ups, which has only shined an even brighter light on this issue that has been getting worse and worse each season. NBA players just can't stay healthy, and no one knows why. Despite the vast research and studies that have been poured into uncovering exactly why NBA players just can't stay healthy, there doesn't seem to be any clear-cut answer. Some factors point to the cumulative amount of wear and tear pro athletes today have gone through by the time they're in their mid-20s. Some studies have pointed towards the increase of dynamic in-game movements as the main culprit. But at most, these are just theories. Legendary NBA trainer Tim Grover, who worked with the likes of Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, and Dwayne Wade, attributes many injuries in the NBA today to simply not enough weightlifting. As players have shifted more and more towards sports-specific workouts and movements, their bodies have almost become unfamiliar with simple things like repetitive body weight impact and quick changes in momentum.
You build a foundation by lifting weights. You have so much more resources, less contact, and more injuries. It's mind-boggling to me. It's because everything is rubber band, everything is resistance, everything is cable. When you get hit, when you jump, when you land, there's no pulleys, there's no cables. Your body weight is the metal. You have to learn how to explode with it, and you also need to learn how to land
That's
with
interesting.
it, how to stop it. And that's what metal does. It teaches you to lift it, but it also teaches you to put it down. Accelerate and decelerate.
Grover also speculates that it's not what the players are doing today that leads them to injuries, it's what they've done in the past. In an article published by Sports Illustrated back in 2014, Grover explains, players aren't sustaining these injuries because of the games they're playing, they're getting these injuries because of the number of practices and games they've already played. Hundreds of games, thousands of hours since they were old enough to pick up a ball. Pee-wee, youth leagues, summer camps, travel teams, AAU, high school, college. A relentless schedule of games, practice, travel, and training, sometimes for multiple teams and leagues, with multiple trainers and programs. No time to play or train for other sports. End result, the same muscles, ligaments, tendons, and joints are used over and over again in the same direction, the same angles, the same motions.
Damn.
One piece of machinery doesn't eventually give out from repeated use over many years. At some point, the body just says, enough. Now, this theory of players putting far too many miles on their body by the time they reach the pros seems to be one of the more popular and accepted theory on these injuries.
Yeah.
Another solid explanation for the rise of injuries around the league says the answer can be found in how the game is played today in contrast to how it was played in the past. 3 decades ago, the game wasn't nearly as spaced out as it is today. A more compact court means less ground to cover, less cuts,
More running
less
and
movement,
stuff.
and less opportunity to get hurt. Instead of chasing shooters around for 48 minutes, offenses were usually played from the inside out. So defense was focused in the trenches, around the basket, where you might bang a knee or catch an elbow. Fast forward to today's game, and no player is exempt from playing cat and mouse for 4 quarters, running around screens, making 90-degree cuts at full speed, attempting to cover 15 feet in a split second as you close out on a shooter, and then forcing your body to come to a stop on a dime in an effort to not crash into him. These movements are violent. Your joints and muscles and ligaments can only move and stop and start like this so many times before they shut down. Years ago, the NBA just wasn't played at this speed, and the off-ball movement and
that's what I was talking about, the speed.
wasn't nearly this complex. But what do the players think? I mean, they are the ones experiencing this influx in injuries after all. Well, just a couple weeks ago, Paul George touched on the subject in an interview with JJ Redick and stated that players are getting injured more now than before because they don't practice enough. Which sounds counterintuitive, but his reasoning makes sense.
Now, they're like, teams don't really practice. You know, we're not getting up and down. You know, there's just, it's a lost art when it comes to that hard practicing. And I think that's why there's so many injuries that's going on, because guys that have a high low day and then a completely off day and then a high low day. You know, back then it was, you practice hard, you got a game. You practice hard, you got a game. Then you might have a day off. Then you come right back to it. So I feel like your body just built the callus, and that you were prepared for a
That makes sense too.
season, to where injuries, like, you know, there wasn't that many injuries. There wasn't time to take a load off because you felt good to play. You know what I mean? It's almost the reverse. They think by giving us time off, it's helped managing our bodies. But in honesty, I think it's just,
that would also make sense because of how load management has not helped injuries that much at all, really.
As players, without putting that load and strain to our bodies.
And Paul George might be correct, but the increase of players who simply cannot stay on the court is a steady trend that's been going on for decades now. Back in 2000, Dr. Chad Starkey of Northeastern University conducted a study on the rate of injuries throughout the NBA, dating from 1989 to 1997. His study found that in that 10-year span, there was a 12.4% increase in game-related injuries around the league. And this problem is only getting worse each season. Not too long ago, if a player was consistently missing 10 games or more in a season, they were considered injury-prone. They were unreliable. Now playing 70 games or less in a season is considered the norm. In fact, if a high-caliber player isn't missing double-digit games in a season, most people think he's going to be burned out before the playoffs even begin. Just look at this year's All-Stars and how many games they've missed so far this season.
Damn, 42 Zion. Yeah. Yeah.
There are currently 18 All-Stars who have already missed double-digit games this season.
That's nuts. That's a case where Nikola Jokic is MVP. So he's only missed 8 games compared to Giannis's 15 and Embiid's 12.
Which may not sound like much, but 20 years ago, out of the entire NBA All-Star roster, only 3 players missed double-digit games throughout the entire season.
And look how many players didn't miss any.
This is absurd. And right about now, some of you may be thinking, well, a lot of those games were missed due to load management. But the whole purpose of load management is to
make you not get injured.
Injury. So if not for load management, there's a good chance that these numbers could be even higher. But despite this, the NBA has moved mountains to try and preserve their players' health. The league has reduced the number of back-to-back games, they've trimmed down the travel times, they've adjusted multiple defensive rules to help protect their players from getting hurt, and they've practically turned a blind eye to load management taking place around the league. Combine all of this with advancements in shoe technology, training, and recovery, and one could only wonder how players in the past could possibly stay healthy when players in today's NBA seem to be breaking down more often than ever before. Well, I think it boils down to 2 relatively simple factors: mileage and the evolution of the game. As many experts and fans have theorized, this newer generation of NBA players have put such an extreme amount of wear and tear on their bodies at such a young age that it's only a matter of time before something gives. Most of these players have put in so many hours through youth leagues, AAU, private training, and college that by the time they're in the league, they have put the same mileage on their legs and ligaments as a player well into his NBA career in previous generations. I look at it almost like a shelf life, a clock. Every athlete has a shelf life for their athletic career. For some, it could be 30 years. For others, it could be 10. But once you start training and playing at a high level, the clock starts. Now, there's ways you can prolong this clock, like proper nutrition and training, but there's also ways to speed up this clock, like overuse and chronic injury. And eventually, when this clock times out, there's really nothing you can do to go back. From that point on, every move you make will be at the risk of injury. NBA players today not only started their clocks much sooner than players in the past, but they are also constantly speeding up their clock with nagging and sometimes even severe injuries. And as we stated before, the second and most overlooked aspect of this whole thing is the evolution of the game. At the NBA level, basketball is played so fast and so hard with so many violent cuts and redirections and weird, awkward movements that even the best athletes in the world can only take so much. At some point, all these jarring movements are gonna take a toll. The game has slowly evolved from straight lines and 94 feet of simple one-motion actions to very complex, side-to-side, straining, aching, injury-inducing movements. And it's clear that no amount of load managing or training or improvements in technology can prevent it. I don't know what the solution is, and quite honestly, I don't think anyone does. These players are designed to play this game, but the game may not be designed for them anymore.
Damn. That line goes hard. So that's a very interesting video. Yeah, because obviously you hate to see it, right? But, yeah, it's just kind of sad to think about, like, so much mileage that you literally cannot. So many players just having destroyed bodies, which, by the way, also make LeBron a lot more impressive. I was like fucking 38. He's gone through the most mileage and he's just still doing shit. Yeah, so that was a really interesting video. So yeah, more JxmyHighRoller videos. You want to see that? If you just watched through an entire damn video of mine and you didn't have anything to say about it in the comment section, or you can't hit a red button or blue button, I don't know what's wrong with you. Yeah, bye.